Hey, welcome to Let's Play Out of the Park Baseball 22, Episode 7. This is an off-season episode. We've had our first off-season between 2021 and 2022. We made some moves, and to be honest with you, a lot of them didn't work out. We traded for Manny Machado. He got hurt. We traded for Sonny Gray. He stunk. We traded for Jesse Winker. He was kind of disappointing. There's a lot of things that didn't go our way, and the last episode concluded with A.J. Puck suffering an injury that's going to keep him out for most of the 2023 season. And that's a shame because he was our best starting pitcher in this save. So we enter into this offseason a 65 and 97 team, really hoping to turn things around for year 3. Because when I embarked on this journey, I really kind of thought, okay, first season, I'll be bad but kind of respectable. And I managed to do that. So I was like, all right, I'm right on track. And then I was like, second season, I'll go 500, and third season I'll be like contending for a playoff spot. That didn't really happen. Season 2 was worse than Season 1, so we can only hope that Season 3 will be better than all of them. Anyways, I have a PM from the owner, Ray Davis, going over our off-season goals, or I guess our just goals in general. And he says that one of our goals was the team record, which was to not suck completely, and he said this was a disappointing year. We did suck completely, so we didn't meet that goal. Increased profit is something he wanted us to do, and we did do that. And a big reason we did that is because we traded for some big players like Machado that really boosted interest in the team. So fans were coming out to the ballpark even though we weren't putting out a winning product necessarily. Improve our draft record. I haven't done that yet. Jack Leiter, a lot of it rides on Jack Leiter. We have to get a certain amount of WAR from homegrown players that we drafted in order to do this. Jack Leiter is one of them. And another one might be Dalen Lyle. Long-term goal to make the playoffs. We still have a few seasons to do that. We need to build our minor league system back up in the next few years because we're down to 22 because we have a lot of players that have come up and graduated from our system, like, for example, Cal Raleigh. So that hurts our farm system rankings, even though it is a success of our farm system in some way. Same thing happened with Vidal Brujan. So that's what's going on. He's not terribly mad at us, so that's good. I don't think I'm at risk for getting fired. And in our new budget, we're up to a $110 million payroll, so that's actually a boost on last year, so that's going to be helpful. But yeah, I said at the end of last episode that my first move was going to be just to fire my scout, and a big reason why is I just feel like I need a second opinion on this team. Coming into last year, my perception of how good the team was and how good the team actually was, there was a huge gap. And so I think a new scout can maybe help fulfill that by offering a second opinion. Taylor Trammell is a pretty good example of a player like this. So Taylor Trammell, I look at his ratings according to my scout, who supposedly has very high scouting accuracy on him. And everything about this says he should be an above average hitter. And yet in the majors for us, he's been just bad. He's just been a bad hitter. And, he's been a good defender. That I can't deny, but it's just, I don't know what to do with this guy. So that's just kind of an example where, I'm not seeing things eye to eye with my scout. And I generally like to go off ratings, but that's been kind of hard to do. And the other aspect of it is that I've made some trades that I've kind of come to regret because certain prospects that he was like, nah, they stink, they'll never develop, have developed for the other team. And so that's rough too. So I'm gonna go. First thing I'm gonna do is look at a new scout. I think I'm gonna go with Jed Morris, who has a outstanding rating at all the levels, amateur, international, minor, and major leagues. And this isn't actually the highest it can go. Legendary is the highest it can go. So this is kind of like, this guy's like in that second tier on everything. And I appreciate the balance because I really do need help scouting at all levels. So we're going to hire him, which will fire Roy Clark. So welcome to the Texas Rangers, Jed Morris. I hope you can give me a new perspective on the team that I can use to build back better. Okay, it's time for arbitration. We're going to start with Brandon Bielak, who's going to be an easy guy to keep. I'm actually going to boost him up to like let's see what he wants. He would do for 1.7. Okay. I'm going to offer him $950. I think this is a little bit low. We're going to offer him $950. Frankie Montas, we had on a minor league deal. I don't think he ever came up to the majors for us. He wasn't terrible in AAA, but we had him on a minor league deal, and so we're going to non-tender. I don't want to pay him $2 million. AJ Puck, who is unfortunately hurt, like I said, for the next 10 months or so, or 8 to 9 months, it says. Asking for $3.8 million of that first year ARB. That's kind of unfortunate. We're going to keep him for sure, but it's just unfortunate to have to pay him this much when, you know, he's not going to play this year. So he would sign for $4 million. How's he done? Okay, I think I'm gonna offer 3.7. And then Taylor Widener, pretty similar to Belak, 850. I think, or not 850, 950. I think that's fine. Josh Lindblom tore labrum in his shoulder. He's going to be out 7 months. He wasn't amazing. I think I'm gonna go for the non-tender on him, honestly. We have a lot of pitchers of that level, and that's kind of one thing I'm going to try to fix this offseason. Brett Martin had a decent ERA this year, but his FIP wasn't great because he allowed a bunch of home runs. I still like him, so yeah, I think 1.1 million is fine there. Tyler Matzek was off to a great start with us generally. He had been really good, and then he's hurt, but he'll actually be back in 5 months, so he should be back by opening day. So 1.9 million is too much considering he barely played, but 1.7 I would do for him. Cool. Drew Rasmussen, awesome for us, awesome reliever, probably best reliever on the team. And what we could do is, I'm curious to see what he would want. He would do 1.3. Would he do 1.2? I think 1.2 would be fair. Okay, so we're going to skip ARB with him. Blake Taylor, also in contention for best reliever on the team. This is his first year of arbitration as well. He's probably going to get a little bit less than Rasmussen. Would he take 1.1? Okay. That's good. Nick Solak's been, well, let's do Dubon first. Dubon, I would consider non-tendering him, but he's really cheap, so I'm not going to do that. But I don't know if he'll make the majors with us, so I'm going to submit 850 on him. Nick Solak's been really good for us. I'm surprised that this estimated is only 1.3 million for his first year of ARB. It should be higher than that, honestly. And he would do 1.4. Would he just take? Well, I don't know about that. I'm not interested in offering long-term contract extensions right now. Let's just do 1.3. I mean, that just seems really cheap for him, to be honest. Is he just not greedy? Is that what he is? Okay, no, that's not his problem. Yeah, he seems like he should be in like the 2-3 million range easily, but for first year ARB, but maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know nothing. JP Crawford, coming off a 2-war season, about 4 million is the estimate. See, that seems a lot to me, to be honest, but this is his second year ARB, but even then, 2.6 million for his first year is a lot. I'm gonna go 3.5. Well, yeah, let's go 3.6. That'll be a $1 million raise. I could see myself losing that one. Jesse Winker is going to get the most money in ARB, which is unfortunate because he was not very good for us. I would consider the non-tender. I feel like I'd be able to trade him for something at the very least, so we're going to at least tender him a contract and then figure out what to do with him later. Not interested in doing that. Okay. Yeah. Let's do 6.3 million. Because he wasn't very good this year. Roberto Perez is a pending free agent. Would he like to come back? I wouldn't do a 2-year deal, Roberto. I don't know. Can I get someone that's like him? His hitting stats have gotten really bad, but that 80 catcher ability is really something. This is a tough one. He is perfect as a backup in some ways, but yeah, you know what I'll do? I'll offer him the 1-year deal. Whoops. And then I think he should take this. And then this is what I did with Drew Butera last year, and then someone came along who was better. In this case, it was Roberto Perez, so I'm going to offer. Okay. Do you want to do team option 2nd year? Well, no, that wouldn't be that. It would be like a $250,000 buyout. Okay. We can do that. Pending minor league free agents, I can just Marwin Gonzalez team option has come up. He has an option year for $10 million. The buyout will be $1.5 million. He was really bad last year. This is kind of a no-brainer. We are going to void that last contract year, which will make him a free agent, which he basically told me he wanted to be last episode anyway, so no problem. Okay, Jed Morris has accepted our contract offer, so he's hopped on board. This is the guy we're really going to need if we want to architect a winning team. So, boy, do I wish him luck. Rasmussen, Solak, Roberto Perez, and Blake Taylor have all accepted our contract offers, so everyone else will go to arbitration. Okay, it's time to do awards. We didn't get a Gold Glove winner this year. I think last year we had Trammell win one. National League Gold Glove winners right there. Reliever of the year is Diego Castillo. Drew Rasmussen finished 4th, but he did get a first place vote, so that's nice. He was a beast, but Diego Castillo takes that one. Good for him. And no reliever of the year, Jordan Hicks, unanimous. Silver Slugger for the American League. There you go. National League, Silver Sluggers. And, yeah. Guess maybe Soto will win MVP. We'll see. This guy, Greg Dykman is the AL Rookie of the Year. 3-WAR season, 31 home runs. Vidal Brujan finished 4th. Did get a vote in there. Oscar Colas. Wow, so they had 2 in the top 5. Good for them. And then, Sugiyano came over from NPB, won Rookie of the Year as a Brave. This guy's a really good pitcher in real life. There you go. AL Manager of the Year, Rocco Baldelli. Dave Roberts, NL Manager of the Year. Max Scherzer wins the Cy Young unanimously. Good for him at the age of 38. Led the American League in ERA, strikeouts, and WAR. And then National League, Max Fried, who started the All-Star game. And then actually, interestingly enough, Sugiyano finished 2nd. Sugano, I'm sorry. Tomoyuki Sugano. That's my bad, guys. I was trying to put this Y over here. And and then Woodruff got some first place votes as well. Everyone knows I'm a big fan of his. AL MVP Tim Anderson, who we highlighted at the All-Star break. He was having a monster year. And then NL MVP is Yelich. Did Yelich even win a Silver Slugger? I'm not even sure if he won a Silver Slugger. But yeah, he wins MVP. Interesting. Cunha had a pretty monster season, as did Soto. If I were voting, I might have gone for Soto. But, can't complain. So there's your awards. And, I will see you all at arbitration, I guess. Okay, here are your arbitration results. We won Tyler Matzek's case, so plus 700,000 for us. JP Crawford won his, so plus 1.1 million to him, so minus 400K. Jesse Winker, we won his, so we're up 1.4 million. We won Brett Martin, so we're up like 1.6 million. We won Belak, so we're up 2 million. We won Widener, so we're up like 2.4 million. We won Dubone, so we're up 2.6 million. And we won Puck. So, all that arbitration, at least we saved like 3 million off it. It's interesting to be put in this position. So you get to kind of be like the scummy GM and, nickel and dime your players. But hey, it saves us 3 million. I might be able to grab a good player for that. So that's the results of arbitration. Let's look at the free agency filings. See who the top. Oh, my good friend Sungmin Kim is coming over from South Korea. That's nice. My good friend. 7 million. We may sign him. But yeah, Sungmin Kim will come over from NPB. And then we have some Cubans, or people coming from the Cuban League at least. Why is this guy like already in a Marlins uniform? The Marlins signed him already? Is that how it works? I don't... Okay. That was fast. And then, we were hiring new staff. Anyways, your top free agents: Margot, Bogarts, Clevenger, Justin Turner, Javi Baez, Gary Sanchez, Sano, Aaron Nola. Ooh, that might be the one to get right there. DeGrom also. He's going to be expensive, though. And Byron Buxton. That's not going to be the one for me. Look at that price. If I go offer him right now, what does it look like? Yeah, that's a Mike Trout type of number, Byron Buxton, and you are fragile. I kind of feel bad for the team that offers him that. But yep, there you go. Those are your top free agents. Starting pitcher, I think, is going to be a big focus for us, but we're going to wait and see. We just got our new scout, and I'm really hoping, like I said, he can give me a new perspective on the team, and I can figure out exactly what positions I should be going after. One of the first players I decided to look at with our new scout is Jack Leiter. You can understand why. We drafted him second overall, and I gotta say he is less bullish on him than Roy Clark was. Roy Clark had him at a 55 movement potential, 55 control potential, and also had him at a 55 stuff potential for most of his career. Dropped it to a 50 right at the end. And you go look at Jack Leiter for what our new scout has him at, and it's just 50s across the board. This is not like a front of the rotation starter. And the thing is, OSA still really likes him. It still sees a nasty pitcher. So my question is to you, the viewer at home, are you thinking what I'm thinking? If we have this really highly touted prospect that we don't think is going to reach his full potential, or at least he's not going to reach what the consensus is around his full potential, wouldn't you trade him? Just food for thought. I'm not going to do it just yet, but it is food for thought. Our new scout also likes Taylor Trammell, though, and Taylor Trammell, just look at these ratings, Taylor Trammell. Look at your ratings, Taylor Trammell. Hit the ball, hit the ball, Taylor. Just hit the ball, please. Not to get too bitter about things, but I remember that Jack Leiter pick was between him and Ty Madden. I thought was kind of my second choice, and I mean, look at what he's become. What an absolute monster. Comes up from Double-A, strikes out 15 per 9 in 46 innings in the majors. I mean, this guy, if we had this guy, our team outlook would be completely different. So I kind of biffed that one. I set a bad example, so my bad on that one, guys. Right out the gate, I've got myself a trade. Jesus Sanchez and Drew Waters are both pretty big prospects in real life. And Jesus Sanchez in particular having a monster start to his AAA campaign. In the save, he also had a decent AAA campaign with the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. And the thing is, I don't know what's up with the Marlins. I don't know what's up with Kim Ang, but either way, I can trade, just two relievers. It's like, who cares, and two catchers, one of which is Tucker Barnhart, who's on like a minor. It's like, who cares? These two guys are practically free. So, a conversation we need to be having is, look, am I, in doing this, gaslighting a woman? Okay, we need to have a conversation about that. I say yes, I am. I say yes, I am gaslighting a woman. But you know what? I have to do what I have to do to win, because I'm the Texas Rangers and I'm 65-97, and my best players keep getting hurt. So, you know what? I'm willing to deal with the consequences. Then again, some of the trades I've made where I thought I was the one doing the fleecing, and then I got fleeced. So every time you think you're smarter than the CPU, it's good to remind yourself that you're 65-97. Having just made that deal for Sanchez, in a comparison with him and Winker, they're pretty similar. They're both left-handed hitting outfielders, and biggest difference is Sanchez has way higher gap power, but not as good an eye, and, it's kind of inverse with Winker. I'm curious at looking at their defensive ratings now, and Sanchez is the superior defender by a pretty solid margin. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade Winker. I know I can get something for him, so I'm just gonna get rid of this guy because it's gonna clear up $6 million in salary, and that'll help in terms of acquiring other players down the line. So he didn't really work. We thought it would be smart to use him as a platoon bat, leadoff guy. I mean, look at these ratings versus right-handed pitching. You'd think he'd be able to get on base a lot. And it was a 333 OBP. I was hoping for like a 380 OBP. So it didn't really work. But yeah, Winker, that experiment is over. And we're going to try to give outfielders like Jesus Sanchez, like Drew Waters, a chance. I think Desmond Lindsay is the best prospect we can trade Winker for. I just used the shop feature. He just had a really good season in Double-A. He is fragile, but I'm not going to rely on him in the majors necessarily, at least not right away. So Winker can go, and the Mets can handle his $6 million contract. I wish him well. I'm a big fan of his in real life, but it just hasn't worked out. And at least we get something decent in return, and we free up some of that sweet, sweet cash. I'm going to do some Hall of Fame voting real quick. So Abreu, yes. Burley, yes. Beltran, yes. I got to say, Beltran, everyone's kind of hated on Beltran since the Astros cheating thing because they just assumed that he is the one that came up with it. And the thing about Beltran is, like, he got hired as the Mets to manage, and then he never got to even manage a game. And it's like, they have, like, Jake Marisnick and J.D. Davis, and they were both on that 2017 Astros team as players. And so I just never got that. To be honest with you, I think that the Mets should have kept Beltran. Anyways, he's Beltran's super underrated player in terms of his career. One of the most efficient base stealers ever, and I think statistically deserving of the Hall of Fame, so I'll go for him. Helton, I'm a yes on. Andrew Jones, I'm a yes on. Roland, I'm a yes on. Billy Wagner, I'm a yes on. 3 more slots left. How about we can go Poppy? K-Rod would be an interesting one. I'm kind of a big Joe Nathan guy, to be honest with you. Maybe even more so than K-Rod. Okay, I'm going to go Joe Nathan. And then one more spot left. Wouldn't Beltray be on this ballot, or was he already on? Was he on the other ballot? I can't remember. Maybe he has another year before he gets on the ballot. I'll just go Manny. All right, cool. Submit. It's just fun to click on 10, It's more fun to click on 10 than 9 or 8. That's really the only reason why. Okay, it's December 13th. I've been mulling over a Jack Leiter trade. If I did trade Jack Leiter, it would be for another pitcher, if that makes sense. I would try to trade for what I felt like was a fully evolved form of what I thought Jack Leiter could be, or maybe what OSA still thinks Jack Leiter can be. That's what a Jack Leiter trade would look like to me. Anyways, I'm not ready to do that yet or discuss that with you guys. This is an announcement that Mets fans don't need to see, okay? So Mets fans, turn off your PC monitor, turn off your phone, skip ahead 1 minute in the video. Don't look at this. Do not look at this if you're a Mets fan. Don't look at this if you're a Mets fan. Close your eyes, close your eyes, close your eyes. That's the news. That's the news right there. Close your eyes if you're a Mets fan. That's actually a pretty good deal for him. I know he's 34, but that's actually a pretty good deal. I'm interested in, where is he? Nola. As are the Dodgers, Yankees, and Cubs. So maybe I need to get on that. But Nola, if there's one big guy I'd sign here, it's probably Nola, but we'll just kind of have to see. I would like to sign him for under 20 AAV or less than 8 years, but if I'm priced out of that, hey, that's on me being, a penny pincher. Remember when I was talking about Byron Buxton being fragile and his insane demand? Well, Houston, man, 7,278, and what is Houston's money? How much money does this team have? What is their payroll? This is insane. I don't understand how this only adds up to 223. This is like a $400 million payroll. This is crazy. They signed Seager, Scherzer. They have Altuve on the extension. They signed Bauer. They extended Bregman. They added Buxton. These guys are crazy with the money. That is insane. It's tough. It's tough out here in the AL West. Nola ended up signing with the Dodgers for $5,106. That's about what I would have given him. I was looking. I drew up a contract offer for him. He didn't really go for it, and I was like, I'll wait. I'm not too mad about missing out on this, but yeah, I would have probably wanted to do something more like 480, so I just got outbid there. But yeah, so that's going to put some pressure on me to either sign a different pitcher or trade for one, possibly using Jack Leiter, because I think the starting rotation is something that I should really focus on this offseason with that A.J. Puck injury. I really like Drew Strotman. I really do. I also still am a pretty big fan of Belak. But Arihara, I don't know about, man. Like, he allows 30 homers a year. I don't love that. And then Cal Wright wasn't even really part of the rotation this year. So it's like, I definitely got to add some pitching somehow. So that's going to be a big focus. Also, Tyler Matzek had a setback. So it added like 15 more months to his recovery. I don't know. I wish I knew that before I paid for his arbitration, but whatever. But I mean, you got to admit, those 28 innings were pretty good. It was a good 28 innings from Mr. Matzek. Rule 5 draft. I already looked at the pool. I didn't really want anybody. Last year we drafted 2 relievers and none of them made the team, so I just basically cut them and they returned to their former organizations. So we're going to just go ahead and complete the draft. There's a couple guys we have in the organization that could get picked that I wouldn't really want to get picked. The biggest one is Nick Meyer, who's a catcher, but I still don't want to add him to the 40-man. So if someone picks him, go ahead. And then I guess the other one would be like Julio Pablo Martinez, who's a center fielder, but we'll see if any of our guys get picked or if anyone really gets picked at all. Nope, only one player picked, Logan Allen, joining Detroit from Cleveland. So yeah, that's Rule 5 draft. That was a pretty fast one. I know this has been a very Jack Leiter-centric episode. However, look at my second round pick from that year, Dalen Lyle. He's just turned 20, and 70 contact potential, and then all this. I mean, what a treat. 60 speed. He's held his own, at pretty much every level he's played at. I'm a big fan of this guy. It's good to know that I at least got one pick right there. So that's kind of a nice update. Another one to definitely keep an eye on is Eduardo Garcia, whose potential ratings have really come along. And he was acquired in a trade that we did with Kansas City. We sent Rafael Montero, who's now a free agent. Doesn't look like he had a great year in KC. And then Mason Englert, who at the time was a pretty well-regarded prospect. You can see that he's made his debut as a reliever for Kansas City and pitched quite well. So that could be a win-win for both, but I'm happy to have Eduardo Garcia. So those are two prospects definitely worth keeping an eye on, especially now that, Cal Raleigh and Vidal Brujan and Drew Strotman have graduated. In our bid to redo this pitching staff, I have a trade that's going to send 5 pitchers to the D-backs for 2. Those 2 are Corbin Martin, who has really good ratings, 70 fastball, 3.12 ERA last year, although maybe a little bit lucky with that BABIP, especially when you consider, the stadium he plays in. And then Connor Grams, who is kind of a JB Bukowskis 2.0. This guy, he has 80 stuff. He also has 55 stamina, so you start to think to yourself, well, maybe he could, pitch in the rotation, but I would like to just try to get him to work somehow. The point is, there's upside here, and I don't think there's too much upside with Kyle Wright, who's the main sort of major league talent we're sending, and with not Ginter, Ryan Garcia is the other main pitcher we're sending over. He looks like he could be a really solid pitcher. However, I just like Martin more, and I like Connor Grams more. So we're going to make this trade. But I do think, Garcia in particular, could be a really good pitcher someday. But I just feel like with that low intelligence, you're asking him to still develop this changeup more and still develop this stuff more. Again, I'm just not seeing too much upside. I think he's like a good depth piece, but we kind of have guys in AAA who can fulfill that role already. So we're going to go ahead and make this trade with the D-backs. And the fan interest will increase with acquiring Mr. Corbin Martin, so that's good. All right, this is it. Jack Leiter going to get shipped out of town again. Jack Leiter, in the eyes of 2 scouts now, by the way, has come down to a 50 stuff potential, 50 movement potential, 50 control potential. Still with the solid repertoire, but even compared to OSA, his stamina is less. OSA still sees him as like a true superstar type pitcher, and I get that. But they have low accuracy, and my head scout has very high accuracy. And what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to trust my scout, and I'm going to trade the 2nd overall pick in the 2021 draft to the team that drafted first. So Jordan Lawler was the 1st overall pick in that draft, and now Pittsburgh will have the 2nd overall pick in that draft. We also throw in Kyle Cody, who had a phenomenal season in AAA last year as a reliever. However, personality class selfish, so I would not necessarily want to see him in the big leagues. Whereas Mitch Keller is looking like a really, really good pitcher for the Pirates. He hasn't quite put together a good season for them yet. You can see with this 340 BABIP, he got unlucky, F-WAR these last 2 years. Thinks he's been an above average pitcher, whereas ERA plus would tell you he's been a below average pitcher. I'm going to side with F-WAR on this one, 65 stuff, 55 movement, 55 control. And he has 3 good pitches and a fringe changeup. And I just think he's really good. He's also on a pretty team-friendly deal. As you can see, do $1 million this year and then 5, 9, 14, 14 through 2027. So this is the trade we're going to make. It's a huge, huge trade to make, but I think the Pirates as a rebuilding club will enjoy it, and I think us as a team that just needs to get in a really good starting pitcher, I think Mitch Keller can be that guy for us. So we're going to go ahead and make this trade. We're also going to make a move for Shane McClanahan. Shane McClanahan is a lefty, and we need lefties. And that's just kind of the deal right now. We have too much in terms of right-handed pitching, and we could really use some left-handed pitching. So we're going to trade Alex Lang, who's basically a right-handed version of McClanahan. So it's going to be a pretty fair trade. You just look at their ratings. McClanahan is a little bit better in the sense that his control is higher and he has 4 pitches and his stamina is a little bit higher, but there's honestly, very little difference between the two. In order to make this trade work, we'll have to throw in someone else. I'm trying to figure out who that's going to be. I think I'm going to go for this guy, Pedro Gonzalez. I've just never heard of him or thought about him in my life. So, at least like some of these guys like Duval and Garcia, we have them on like minor league deals. Whereas Gonzalez, I just don't know. I don't care. So we're going to go ahead and do this trade with the Rays, bring in McClanahan, ship out Alex Lang, who we got from Detroit. And this is a pretty lateral move, but it does give us a left-handed pitcher, which is something that we definitely need. I'm looking at Yandy Diaz here, and I think he can hit. That's basically my takeaway. With that 65 contact, 55 I, 55 avoid Ks, I think this guy can get on base at an above average clip, which, in terms of that DH spot, it's still wide open. We have Luken Baker, who has serious power. We have Juan Yepes, who's a little bit more well-rounded, but we can throw in just like someone who I think is already established that they can hit at the major league level into that mix. I think it'd be good. And the other thing, too, is like with Tampa and their budget being what it is, he's basically free to take on. So we're going to go ahead and do this deal for Yandy, and then I think I've got one more big trade for y'all coming up. And here it is. I would like to trade for Chris Sale, and this is something that we kind of did with Machado. We looked at who was in free agency. We said, hey, I don't really like that, but what we can do is we can trade for someone that's on a big deal and then see what happens. So that's what we're going to do here with Chris Sale, who has 2 years left on his deal at $27.5 million apiece. We can afford that. We've cleared out a lot of budget, and we can afford that. And we're actually going to clear out a few more million with this trade. And then he also has a team option for 2025 for $20 million. Chris Sale is a chippy personality class. He's selfish. However, with Taylor Trammell, with Roberto Perez, who are both captains, I think we'll be able to act as a counterweight to him. And honestly, as long as you don't like make this guy, wear sleeves or anything like that, then he's going to be okay. And he's coming off nearly a 5-WAR season with the Red Sox. These are excellent ratios in strikeouts, walks, and homers. And I just feel like this is the type of trade we have to make if we really want to have someone that we can rely on in the starting rotation. We have a lot of interesting names, interesting young pitchers, but this is a guy I look at and I say, hey, I can count on this guy. So that's it. That is as long as he stays healthy. So we're going to go ahead and make this trade for Sale. And I think the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to send Arihara just to clear out a few more million. And then I can also throw in Steven Hajar, and that's kind of the biggest piece to trade here. Steven Hajar is pretty good. He was our 3rd round pick in 2021. We just traded our 1st round pick in 2021, Jack Leiter, but I feel like we have better prospects than him, to be honest, and even just better young pitchers than him in general. So we're going to make this trade, and we're going to take on the Chris Sale deal, even though Theo Epstein says probably not a good idea. So Red Sox, congrats on rehabilitating him and getting something, in return for him at the age of 33 when you have to still have those, big money years at the end. But I'm going to take him on for these next 2 years, and we're going to see what happens. So Chris Sale, welcome to Texas. Here are your Hall of Fame voting results. David Ortiz is the sole inductee this year. He gets in his 2nd year. Carlos Beltran, though, with a strong showing in his 1st year at 65%, he'll get in later down the line. So that's your Hall of Fame. It's a weird bit of injury news, but Mitch Keller suffered a herniated disc in his neck on the 25th, so he has 3 more weeks of recovery for that. And we weren't playing baseball, that was kind of the part that was weird about it. And so I guess that's okay. He'll be back for spring training, but that's sort of an ominous start to his career with the Texas Rangers, especially what we've been through with AJ Puk and Manny Machado, right? Speaking of AJ Puk, he still has 5 to 6 more months to recover from elbow ligament reconstruction surgery. However, we're going to get him at some point in the second half, maybe for that, that last month or 2 of the season. And that's going to be a big add if he can come back and resume where he was at in 2021 and 2022 when he was our best starting pitcher. We have made it to March and thus spring training, and I'm sure we'll all be crossing our fingers for no major injuries during spring training. Here are all the position players that I have invited to spring training. A couple that I'd like to highlight: Anderson Tejeda. We're going to continue to force him to play at third base during this spring training, just to give him a little bit more experience there. He has a pretty good chance to just remain the utility player on this team. He did really well in that role last year. Look at his slash line, and that kind of dates back to him hitting well in AAA and getting the call up to begin with. Eduardo Garcia gets invited. He's one of a couple prospects we invited. He's coming along very nicely, and I imagine he'll start the season in AA at the age of 20. And then the other big prospect we're inviting is Dalen Lyle, who I think may also start in AA. We'll see. Drew Waters is getting the 4 starts at right field, so we're going to try to build up his position at right field, which would actually be his best position given his outfield arm of 65. He's going to make this team. I have a pretty good idea of how I want to line up this team. I think that it's going to end up with like Solak as the DH, but Juan Yepez, Yandy Diaz, Lucan Baker. We're definitely going to be paying attention to these guys. I think Baker in particular has the highest upside, but he just hasn't done anything at all in the majors. But I mean, when we put him in AAA Round Rock and those 13 games, he hit 5 home runs at 1,200 OPS. He's got potential. But yeah, catcher's going to be something that we want to see improve. Cal Raleigh had a rough first year in the majors. He spent some of it DHing. He spent some of it catching. Our scout is very high on him, and I think the biggest thing that would help is just for him to walk more. His walk rate was, about, 8%. If he could bump that up to like a 12% with his 60i, I think that would make a big difference. Machado's back. And then in terms of our pitching, here's how it's going to look. And this is more open season. I mean, Sale has a rotation spot for sure. Keller does, and Strotman does, but there's going to be some, and I guess, I think our rotation would be like Keller, Martin, Strotman, Sale, and then maybe Belak or something like that, but we'll see how it actually turns out. And then, bullpen, we have a ton of talented relievers, and I think it's just a question of, can I pick the right ones and put together the mega bullpen I've been trying to build for this entire save. So that's what we have going on. I will see you all at the other end of spring training. We'll go over who made the team, and we'll go over prospects. Okay, I'm interrupting in the middle of spring training here because the thing that we didn't want to happen has happened. Chris Sale is injured with a diagnosis pending, and we'll just kind of go through it, react to it together. At this point, given what's happened to Machado and Puck, it's like I can just kind of deal with it no matter what, so we'll see what happens. Out 3 to 4 months, that's fine. That's fine. I didn't really want him that much anyways. 60-day IL. Good day to you, sir. Let's keep going. We have made it to opening day, so now it's time to go over the team as well as the prospects. And I guess we should probably start with the injured list. So Puck will be back in 3 months. Chris Sale will be back in 3 months. And I think what we have to hope for most of all with these guys is we don't want any setbacks, okay? If they come back in 3 months, they're going to get the second half of the season to really show what they can do for us. But we just don't want these setbacks where it's like, oh, they're going to be out for 3 more months beyond that. And then they're going to end up missing, the whole year. Connor Grams has a really good chance of joining the bullpen, potentially even the starting rotation, but I think bullpen when he returns from this strained forearm. He has about 2 more weeks on that, and then Matzik, of course, has been out forever. But I'd say with these injuries, specifically to Sale and Puck, it was actually really easy to put together this team. And in years past, it had been sort of difficult to decipher who was, a bullpen guy, who was a rotation guy, and who was a AAA guy, for example. This year, it felt a little bit easier. It felt a little bit more straightforward. So let's start with our lineup. Vidal Brujan leading off. I think he can be sort of the prototypical leadoff man. He's quick. I think he has on-base skills between his contact, his eye, and his avoid Ks. He did some good stuff for us last year. He's a perfectly fine second baseman, switch hitter, so he's going to lead off for us. Manny Machado returns to the team, and good thing about Machado is that his ratings haven't really changed up, at least in terms of his hitting. I think his defense may have gone down a little bit, but not a huge amount. So hopefully he can continue where he left off. He was off to a great start in 2022. He also did great in 2021. So really in his last, 3 seasons, if you add these up, there's about a full season in here, and he's been absolutely terrific. So hopefully he'll continue to be great, and we're batting him second just to get, as many plate appearances as we can. Nick Solak batting third. He moves to DH. He's played second base for us a good bit. He's played left field for us a good bit. He's played third base for us a good bit. Right now he's our DH, and he's been one of our more productive players over the past couple of years. I hope he can do that. If not, we have options. We have Juan Yepes. We have Yandy Diaz. We have Lucan Baker. We just need someone to hit at DH, and we really haven't had a DH hit for us ever in this save. So that leads us to Nate Lowe. Nate Lowe did hit for us last year, and if we can get a repeat of that in the cleanup spot, that would be absolutely wonderful. He was a huge breakout for us last year. Cal Raleigh batting fifth. Our scout is high on his skills, and I'm just hoping maybe he can walk more with that 60i. I think that would be a big deal. So definitely rooting for Cal Raleigh. Just, if we can get a league average hitter out of him, plus a 55 catcher ability catcher, that would be awesome. Taylor Trammell, our biggest headache in the world. Hit the ball, Taylor. I know you can do it. I see you. Hit the ball. Hit the ball. Get on base. Do whatever. He moves over to left field, and that's good because he won a Gold Glove there in 2021. So at the very least, even if he doesn't hit, he gives us some defense in the outfield. The outfield is definitely our biggest question mark. Next is Leody Taveras, who's our most established outfielder, I would say. And Leody had a really good season last year. He hit 294, 355, 415, 105 OPS plus, 3 WAR because he's a very solid defender in center field. I don't think we'll get that again, but if we can get like a 90 OPS plus guy with his defense and speed, he'll be a perfectly fine starting player in this league. So I was really excited with what he did last year. Jesus Sanchez batting 8th, playing right field. His ratings, according to our scout, have already come down a bit. When he was high on him, he thought his contact and power were higher. And now that he's very high in terms of the accuracy, he's not so sure. He thinks he's maybe not quite as good. We are comparing this guy to Winker, and the thing that gives Jesus Sanchez an advantage over Winker is that he's like a Gold Glove caliber defender. Like, he's going to be a really good right fielder for us. And so I'm just kind of hoping we can get a league average hitter out of him. And if we can, in fact, get that, then he's going to be really productive. JP Crawford, batting 9th. He's been really good for us. 87 OPS plus, 1.9 WAR last year. If we can just get a repeat of that, I'll be perfectly happy. And in terms of playing our defensive game, he's been instrumental to this team. Against left-handed pitching, it's not really that different. And that's interesting because in the past I've used some heavy platooning, but the biggest change is Drew Waters comes in to play right field instead of Jesus Sanchez. So that's the biggest difference. And in terms of our bench, we have Anderson Tejeda as sort of our utility infielder. And then, Waters, I guess, is sort of our utility outfielder. And then Juan Yepes is like our bench bat. He's going to get some starts at DH. He's going to get some starts at first base, keep him rotating in. He had a fabulous spring training. You can see his stats right there. So that's why he ended up breaking camp with this roster. And then Roberto Perez, he's there to be a captain, and he's there for 80 catcher ability. He's not going to hit anything, okay? He is Jeff Mathis. He is the Jeff Mathis of this team, but that's okay. That's good to have in a backup catcher. Pitching. Mitch Keller's going to be our ace opening day starter. We traded Jack Leiter for him, so it's kind of like, well, he better be, He better be. I already see that Jack Leiter's movement potential has come up. Interesting, I must say. But it's really just come back to where it used to be. Kyle Cody also sent over in that deal. I think Mitch Keller's going to be really good for us. That's my biggest hope. Drew Strotman, our number 2. This guy's got some really nasty ratings. I think it's highlighted by that 65 movement. He's just not going to allow a lot of home runs with that kind of movement. And he was really good. 18 starts, almost a 2 WAR player, 112 ERA plus. If we can get that for a full season, I'd be very pleased with myself. And, this was a guy we traded for as a prospect with Tampa. So That trade has paid dividends. Speaking of Tampa, Shea McClanahan was really good coming out of the pen. I know, 3.86 ERA, but if I can see it, spring training, McClanahan, yeah. So in McClanahan in 9 innings had a FIP of 0.2. I know that's a small sample size, but that's awesome. So I'm actually going to start him in the rotation. If not, we have other options we can turn to as our sole left-handed pitcher in the rotation. Corbin Martin is our 4. Taylor Widener is our 5. Taylor Widener, I would like to see do well. I was thinking that long relief would be the role that he ends up with on this team, but the Chris Sale injury kind of put him back in the rotation. Belak's going to be in long relief as well, and I think these two are very much interchangeable. Really, these 4 are all interchangeable. Let's be honest, McClanahan, Martin, Widener, Belak. We'll just kind of have to figure out who's legit, because Keller and Strotman, I think, have their spots, but otherwise, I'm just kind of shrugging my shoulders until Puck and Sale get back, which hopefully will happen this year in a timely fashion. Taylor Hearn, Brent Martin, they're going to be our lefties. DeMarcus Evans, righty in the pen. Zach Hess, another righty in the pen. We're going to be used, of all the middle relievers, he's going to be used more often, kind of in hopefully some higher leverage spots. And then as far as our stoppers go, these are our highest leverage guys. It's Jose Leclerc. Remember him? We haven't seen him in a long time. We're paying him $6 million. But you know what? He came back from his injury and he's pretty good. So that's great. Blake Taylor has been very solid for us. He returns to the stopper role for a 3rd year in a row. And then Drew Rasmussen. And the thing about Rasmussen is we don't have that much stamina in the bullpen. We used to have a lot of starters coming in, to pitch in relief. Now we have more relievers. And so Belak is really the only one that fits that role. And then Rasmussen is the other multi-inning guy. So I have Rasmussen's secondary role as long relief because he could be, the one out, or not the one out, the 1 inning, save, 9th inning guy, or he could come in and try to, pitch the 7th and the 8th of a game, have these multi-inning appearances. He's kind of a Josh Hader in that sense. So that's how we're going to line up the team. Like I said, it was pretty straightforward given the current injury situations. And Connor Grams, who I said, maybe could pitch out of the rotation. We'll see. I would like to get him at least established as a reliever before I start thinking about him in the rotation. But honestly, we'll see how it goes once he gets back from his injury. But he's still very much in the mix, although I imagine he'll start with Round Rock. And then next up is our prospects. Our prospects, I've greatly shortened the prospect list, and part of that is I've traded a lot of them, and part of that is, a lot of them have just kind of, reached a stagnation in their development where it's they're not really that interesting as prospects to begin with. One of those is Christopher Bernal, who is a 13th rounder. He's going to start the season in rookie ball for us, and he's kind of on the fringe of this prospect list. I have how many on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I have 10 people on here. Then we go down to A-ball, and we have Luis Angel Acuna, who is the cousin of Ronald Acuna. I keep saying that. I have not double-checked, but I'm pretty sure that's what he is. And, Luis Angel, or maybe he's his brother. He is related to him. That much I know. Anyways, Luis Angel, he's going to start in A-ball. He finished in A-ball, and actually, he spent all the year in A-ball, but he was really bad, and then towards the end, he started to figure it out. So we're going to start him in A-ball, and then he could be up in high A fairly quickly if he gets off to a good start. Grant Hussey, 5th rounder for us in 2021. I'm liking this guy's power and his discipline. The contact and avoid Ks. This guy's going to be really 3 true outcomey, but there is potential here. He's going to start the season in A-ball and make that, always difficult leap from rookie ball to A-ball, which I think is maybe the hardest leap to make in this game, and possibly the hardest leap to make in general is that rookie to A in today's MLB. I mean, it's really difficult. It used to be people would say, A to AA or, AAA to the majors. I get that, but rookie to A is really difficult right now just in general because there's not, that low A doesn't really exist anymore. So anyways, tangent over. Nicholas Perez, 3rd rounder 2022. He's going to start in A after, holding his own in rookie ball. The biggest thing this guy has going for him is age. We drafted him at 17. We put him in rookie ball. He holds his own. We put him in A as an 18-year-old, And it's like, if he can hold his own again, this guy's got great range. He's got great speed. So even if, you're not overwhelmed by the hitting metrics, he can contribute in other ways. So that's Nicholas Perez for you. And then AA holds, well, no, we should go to high A, because high A is where Eduardo Garcia is. He's, I would say, one of our top 2 prospects. We have 2 prospects who I think are standouts above the others. Eduardo Garcia is one of them, who we acquired in a trade with the Kansas City Royals. He's going to start in high A, and it's one of those deals where, look, if he has 20, 30 good games to start in high A, then he'll be in AA pretty quick. He's 20. Look at these ratings. This is a potentially really, really great player. And then in terms of our other great prospect, it's Dalen Lyle, who I drafted 2021 second round. And honestly, he's looking like he might be better than Jack Leiter. So the 39th overall pick might be better than the second overall pick. And if it turns out that he's great, that's okay. And we need him to be great, because honestly, as far as our goal of getting drafted players in the team, he's by far our best bet, it looks like. But yeah, he starts in AA somewhat aggressively at the age of 20, but I just felt like he was ready, and we'll see. So Eric Sarantola, first rounder 2022. This guy could also make the team before this series is over, and I'm thinking like it could be as a reliever, but we're going to keep using him as a starter for now. Anyway, Sarantola starts in AA as well. He made his pro debut in high A, held his own, and now he's on to AA. So I would say that's pretty good, but he doesn't really have like superstar potential necessarily, and he was our first rounder. Evan Carter was the Rangers' second rounder in 2020, so he's not someone I drafted personally, but he is a lot like Dalen Lyle, kind of Dalen Lyle light, maybe a better defender than Lyle though, and he'll also start in AA, so pretty similar player to Lyle. And Kevin Abel I added back to this list. Our fourth rounder in 2021. We're going to start him in AA, and it's kind of just do or die for him, because we've had him in A 2 years in a row, and it hasn't gone great, but we're going to start him in AA, and yeah, maybe we should start him in high A. Maybe that would be the smarter thing to do, but, I mean, he's 24, and his rating's relative to AA. Ooh, okay, let's start him in high A. So that's what we're going to do with Kevin Abel. And then Sherten Apostle, here's the thing about Sherten Apostle, like he's still very much a solid guy, and he hasn't made his MLB debut yet. Well, he has. He did in 2020, but he hasn't debuted for us yet. And the thing about Sherten Apostle, who I'm a big fan of in real life, by the way, I should start off by saying that, he needs to just rake in AAA. That's really his key, and he hasn't quite done that yet. He's gone from a 92 OPS plus to a 101 OPS plus. If he starts looking at a 120, he could get called up, and it's going to depend on, hey, does Manny Machado get hurt? Because last year Machado got hurt, but I didn't feel like Sherten Apostle had earned the call up to be an everyday third baseman, so I put Solak there and did some rearranging. And then, again, that DH spot is available too if he wants it. Solak's there now. We've got Lucan Baker, we've got Juan Yepes, we've got, potentially Yandy Diaz. So there's options there, but he gets thrown into the mix. I had so many opportunities to trade him this offseason, I couldn't bring myself to do it. So that's our team as things stand right now. And the last thing I would like to take a look at is actually the preseason predictions. I haven't shown these during the series yet. I don't think so. But preseason predictions has us at 81 and 81. Last year, if you'll recall, my prediction was 84 and 78, and we ended up going 65 and 97. So my prediction for this year, I'm actually just going to say it's unchanged. I'm going to say we're going 84 and 78 this year. And then I would invite you all to leave your predictions in the comments below. How many wins do you think this team is getting now that you've kind of seen everybody? But thank you all so much for enjoying the series. We're going into year 3. And tune into the next episode for the first half of the 2023 season.